Is it a question of Tatum needing to find a way to get big buckets late in games? Because save for Game 6, I understand we can go back to Game 6 in Milwaukee where he had a,
all-timer.
An all-time great night.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, late in close games, the Celtics have struggled, and Tatum in particular, to find shots and to find baskets.
Right, exactly. And that's going to be the key component within this series, because when you have Draymond Green, who's an active, very vocal defensive guy, he's like the middle linebacker for their team, and he sees the court, he's communicating, telling guys what's happening, what bad screens is coming, to get back on defense. He's communicating that way. But now to see the matchup with him guarding Jayson Tatum, who's, to me, is probably one of the most complete players in the game of basketball. Fundamentally sound, great footwork, he's balanced when he shoots the ball, his shoulders are square to the basket. All those details prepare you to be a great offensive basketball player, and that matchup's going to be important to see. Is
he the guy they're riding, Perk? Because there have been, as great as Tatum has been, he has been magnificent. There are little tiny question marks. You see the question on the screen. Is he playing well enough to win the championship?
Greeny, he went through Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. He went through Giannis Antetokounmpo, who's arguably the best basketball player in the world, and he just finished up with Jimmy Butler. That's 4 of the top 10 players in the NBA that Jayson Tatum has went through. Look, we could talk about how much of an offensive juggernaut he really is and how he's one of the most elite scorers in the game today. But the thing that impresses me the most about Jayson Tatum is his ability to make others around him better and the trust that he have in his teammates, whether it's Grant Williams, Al Horford, the lob to Robert Williams underneath the basket. Look, Jayson Tatum's growth, not only throughout the course of the regular season, but through this postseason, has been remarkable. Ime Udoka challenged him to make others around him better. They have an old saying in the locker room. Amari, you might have heard of this because you were a franchise player. I wasn't. Just because we call your play doesn't mean it's your shot. And Jayson Tatum got that point now. Just because it's his play doesn't mean it's his shot. So with his ability able to create for others, yes, he can be the best player in this series because he has the trust in his teammates.
That said, all of that said, Zach, we keep seeing the numbers up there on the screen, and Hembo put them up, and we saw the full screen. I mean, these are real numbers. They are bad late in close games. They were 29th in the league in that stat all season long. They were bad in these playoffs, and even a game that they wound up winning, which was Sunday night's Game 7. They were terrible on the offensive side late in that game. What is that about? And can they beat Golden State, a team this good, with that struggle?
I'm throwing Game 7 out the window because I think the pressure of the moment, the magnitude of it got to them a little bit, and they just made a series of awful decisions that will not be in this series. Regular season, yeah, they were bad in crunch time, but as I said before, they didn't play any crunch time once they got good.
Back to Game 6 Friday night at home. They're on the offensive end. They turn it over. They look panicked.
The turnovers are the big issue because the Warriors force a lot of turnovers, and we saw it against Luka. They are not going to give Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown a static floor to look at. They're going to help, they're going to rotate, and those guys are going to have to make good decisions against a defense that's moving and flying, and Draymond's yelling and screaming.
This is something we can talk about as we go, but I want to get the players in on this. One of the reasons, as this came up on Countdown the other night, potentially for this is they don't have your classic playmaking point guard. Marcus Smart has been terrific as their point guard, but someone who, all right, put the ball in his hands, let's get everybody settled down, he'll create a play, he'll create a shot for somebody else. What, Chris Paul, I'm just trying to think of a perfect example.
They tried that with Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving. It didn't work.
Because they were score-first guys, and in this case, they just look discombobulated sometimes. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.